are. So if you're listening, there's time to get over here and get some autographs if you want.
Morrison, McDermott up for the tip. I mean, an easy tip there for McDermott, and they'll get it in the hands of Barnes to get the offense rolling for that Bradley starting five you see right away. The big name, though, as we highlighted earlier, it's Soleil Barnes. And she's got it right now. On the other side, though, Jess Lawson, big-time player for the Chippewas, as the Bradley offense going to try to get it going early on here. They'll get it in the hands of Barnes. She'll get it in low into the paint. Can't finish at the rim.
Well, we know that this Chippewa team, they're going to play some defense, especially down low. They have the opportunity to run small or run big, but it really doesn't matter. They're going to play some solid defense.
Here come the Chippewas the other way. They get in the hands of Mosley, and they'll go far side to the freshman. Morrison drives in, shoots up the 15-footer, banks off the back iron. No good. She's going to be a big piece today for the Chippewas. A lot of freshmen going to have to play big roles.
Yeah, this is a Central Michigan team that needs scoring from all around. And to go with their defense, you can get a couple extra buckets. It goes a long way.
Nelson into the lane. She'll throw a little bit of a fadeaway. Got it to go. Bradley on the board first with 8:57 to go in the first.
That's just a nice shot right there. Kind of got in the middle of that defense, waited for them to sag off a bit, and just used a little fadeaway jumper from the line.
Well, Central Michigan trying to get the offense going. Pruitt trying to drive to the paint. They get it back outside. Jess Lawson gets the screen from Taylor. She's going to try to get to the rim. Throws it up. Too far off the back iron, but rebounded by Johnson down low in the paint.
This is what this Central Michigan team does well.
Mosley from range, off to the right, no good. Battle for it, the board on the floor. Last touched by Taylor Johnson, or rather Bradley. That's going to be out of bounds. Central Michigan retains possession. Last touched by O'Hara.
Well, you can see just on this replay, just how physical they are trying to get these boards. And that was kind of a question for the Central Michigan team coming into this season, losing some of their main rebounders and really some of their size down low. But this is a team-oriented effort to get the boards.
Lawson a little 15-footer. That looked nice from the jumper. 2-2 game.
Well, we talk about how similar these teams were coming into this game, and the first bucket comes very similarly on both sides. Central Michigan just had a couple of extra rebounds offensively to give themselves some chances.
Nelson on the other way from range, can't hit. And you talk about that similarity on both sides. It's going to be so interesting to see these teams go up against each other. They saw each other last year, but Central Michigan, just a whole new team, and a whistle's going to be blown. That's the first on Soleil Barnes.
Yeah, she's got a big task for this Bradley team defensively. At the top of the key, more than likely guarding Lawson most of the time. So it's going to be one of those defensive efforts where if you're playing that man type of defense, you got to be careful not to foul. That's the type of defense that get you into some foul trouble early. And for Barnes to get the first right there, obviously not an issue yet, but just a couple of minutes into this game.
Mela Ham, Ayan Sarai Darrington, the first two check-ins for the Chippewas today. Mosley's got it, far side wing. She'll get the screen, refuse it, and drive to the baseline. Kicks it near side corner, one more to Ham. She thought about it, back to Lawson. Lawson tried to get inside, finds Darrington under the block. She goes up, too strong. A little bit of contact down low, hauled in by the Braves. Here comes Bradley the other way. O'Hara at the rim, can't get it to go. And both these teams, we talk about those similarities. They've got to be able to finish at the rim on both sides. Offensively, they need to be strong today. Ham squares up for three. Off the back iron, hauled in by Barnes the other way.
You look at both of these teams on paper, both just averaging over 60 points per game. But you like those aggressive type of shots, no matter what side it is.
Can't get the three to go. On the other side, Ham tried to get the rebound, knocked into Lawson. That's a mistake from the Chippewas.
Just a lack of communication there. Just need to get together, not fight yourself to the rebound.
And the Braves this year, led up by third-year head coach Kate Popovic-Goss. She's been in the program for a while. She spent some time at Northwestern. She feels really good about this team this year with that size and defensive presence. She
talked a lot about, just bringing in players with that winning type of history and trying to, have that size and versatility, which I think they're going to figure out a lot today what they have.
Abu Heshesh trying to finish at the rim. Couldn't finish, but drew the foul. She's going to get a chance at two. And on the other side for Central Michigan, it's the second-year head coach, Kristen Haney, who's brought in a lot of new faces. She's got her team in the building. It's going to be exciting what they can do this year.
Well, just this early in the season, there's so much talk about just getting on the same page, communication. We kind of saw it on the defensive rebounding side of things before this foul. And, they did a lot this summer to try to work on that. But really, a lot of it happens here in these first few weeks of the season.
First free throw is good. The second one rattles in and out, no good. And for Bradley this season, free throws, they've made about 70% of them this year, but those are points left on the board that they want to mitigate. So Pruitt's got it, far side wing. Trying to look to the top of the key. She gets Ham popping. They get it into Darrington right at the free throw line. She goes in, works through double coverage, blocks up front, loses the ball, and now we're in the scramble drill the other way. Nelson trying to drive through Mosley, spinning into the lane, finishing at the rim, and one more.
Well, great shot here by Nelson to kind of work through that contact. Just caught Mosley down low, a little spin move laid in, but that play all starts on the other side of things. McDermott, that is where she becomes so important, adding that size to the floor. She went up, got that rebound over a couple of Chippewas, and then it turns into points on the other side, or maybe even an extra point.
So a chance to make it 3. Nelson's free throw off front iron, but falls. So she converts the 3-point play. And she's a great player last year for these Braves. She scored 13 points last year against the Chippewas. That injury, though, did cut her season short. Ham gets the screen right side from Riley Smith. Now they get to Lisa Tassone, one of those only returners for Kristen Haney last year. Lawson trying to find her way. She wants to get into the lane. Looking. Now she'll throw up the jumper off back iron. Riley Smith battling down low. It's Darrington who comes up with the rebound, but a jump ball called underneath. Chippewa ball.
That's where that team aspect of rebounding comes in for Central Michigan, too. Riley Smith, the first one to make contact, then it kind of goes into the pile. You fight for it, and obviously this time doesn't matter too much because you have the possession arrow pointing your way, but that's just that shows you how aggressive they're going to be trying to clean those boards.
And you coming into this one, Central Michigan, they're going to attack you defensively, and they're going to work at the rim. Mela Ham trying to get to the rim, can't finish through contact. Hauled in the other way for Bradley. Abu Heshes trying to get to the rim, easily finishing. She's got 4 today.
That was as simple as that. She just ended up beating and just off the dribble pretty much everybody. Had one-on-one at half court and then just took it the rest of the way.
Early 8-2 lead on the road for the Braves. They get it to Riley Smith. She thought about the 3. Now gets to the rim. Can't finish in front of the rim. Great first move, but couldn't capitalize. And here come the Braves the other way. They get it inside to McDermott. Got the smaller Tassone on her, but she'll elect to pass it back out. And they'll get it right back to her, trying to swing it around to Soleil Barnes. She's been quiet so far through 5. Barnes gets the screen right from McDermott. Now gets the size matchup against Riley Smith. Driving into the lane, left block. She'll get fouled trying to drive in by Riley Smith.
What do you like what you see out of Bradley so far? Just trying to push tempo. We saw that on the last fast break, but they're okay setting up in their half-court offense and just trying to find ways to beat this Central Michigan team. And right now, just kind of keeping an eye on those fouls. What's going on? Trying to get down low.
Top of the key, Abu Heshesh trying to get to the rim, and she finishes again. She's having her way up at the rim through the first 5 minutes here in Mount Pleasant.
Had 7 points, 4 rebounds in their last game against Lindenwood, but that is a good acrobatic finish. Way to adjust at the rim.
Chippewas going to Tassone. They swing it around to Ham. She'll try to drive. Dishes back right side to Tassone. Tassone cross-court pass to Morrison. Drives baseline. Throws up the floater. Too strong.
Great defense there by Bradley, just staying with their assignments. They tried to overload one side and go back.
Out the other way. Washington's shot is too strong. So back and forth we go. Chippewas keeping the pace pushing. Ham thought about the 3, drives in, whistle blown. That'll get called against Claire McDougall.
I think that's where you see that the smaller sort of lineup there kind of helps Central Michigan.
All Bradley so far, 10-2.
More often than not, about 26 turnovers in a game early in this season for CMU. That needs to change if they want to come back in this one.
Well, so far, 0 turnovers on both sides. Taylor Johnson recently checked in, has trouble with the inbound, but does corral it. And she'll flip it to Lisa Tassone, who's going to set up the offense. Central Michigan now going in with a little bit more size. Riley Smith in, Taylor Johnson in. It's Maddie Morrison, the freshman, with it at the top of the key. She'll drive to the right block. Double team, tried to swing it across to Johnson. Can't get it. Now we're scrambling for the ball out of bounds. Last touch by Riley Smith.
That was a tough possession. A couple of chances to cause a turnover there for Bradley. Nearly off the inbound was saved by Johnson. And then obviously the scramble there at the end as it almost went out of bounds.
Right now, Central Michigan just trying to find some offense, whether it's got to come in that transition pace or if it's got to come around the perimeter. They're looking for offense right now because this is a team, Kristen Haney said, it's going to be built on the defensive side and the rebounding side of the ball. Bradley, dribble handoff on the left side from O'Hara. Nelson driving in the paint, dishes near side corner. McDougal kicks it one more. Abu Heshesh, fake. Now back out. McDougal. Shot clock's at 3. They get it to O'Hara. She drains the 15-footer from the elbow. 12-2.
Great possession there for Bradley. Just kind of took their time, tried to get inside, then were able to kick it back out. Just finding shots and no panic in this Bradley offense.
Ham gets it to the right side block. Just a shovel pass out to Morrison, who swings it one more to Smith.
It doesn't matter how it looks, just if it gets there.
That is true. They find Johnson. She's going to show up. A little bit of a floater-type shot. Can't finish. Chippewa just can't finish anything at the rim right now. And Bradley's just keeping the pace hot. O'Hara gets the screen. Far side in the hands of Postema. O'Hara, one more to Abu Heshesh. To find her way to Taylor Johnson. Here comes McDougal to the rim, through 2. Throws up almost a shot, but it becomes a pass to O'Hara. Can't finish at the rim. Whistle's blown. It's going to be a foul on Central Michigan on the rebounding side of the ball.
And that was a tough one there. I think they're going to get Maddie Morrison down low, just trying to fight for that. You could see on that replay there. There's 3 Central Michigan Chippewas down in the paint trying to get those defensive boards, but have to give Bradley a ton of credit here. Whoever they've had in the post has done a good job of fighting.
Well, again, that's what this team wants to be built on. They want to be aggressive on the board, so you'll take some of those nitpicky fouls if you're being aggressive down low. Central Michigan gets set up in almost the 2-3 zone. Ball is inbounded. Nice little 15-footer from Abu Heshesh, and she's fouled on the floor by Johnson.
That's just a foul that comes way too late, and she had a couple of opportunities. Had the inbound, look at the 3, but then chose to go to the free throw line, and you can see Taylor Johnson just trying to box out maybe a little too much contact, and when you end up on the floor, that's not necessarily going to help your case.
Right now, Bradley, 5 points for Abu Heshesh, 5 for Nelson. Right now, those two really hurting the Chippewas inside and in the paint. The Sweden native, 2 dribbles, her first free throw. Finds a way home. She's been almost perfect from the line. Missed one in her first trip. She makes 2 this time around. 12-point lead now for Bradley.
Well, 6 of those points coming from Heshesh too. So you can see she's really taken the lead offensively. Nearly came away with a steal there.
Here comes Lawson getting to the rim. Foul blown on the floor from Bradley. Just trying to slow down Lawson because she's only working around the rim mostly. She did have that nice 15-footer, but that's a 1,000 career point scorer now.
Yeah, and she was trying to find a bucket there, but she drove in. That ball kind of popped up. I knew it was going to be a whistle either way on more of a travel or a carry, or that time looked like the reach-in.
Back to Lawson. Gets the screen left from Johnson. Couldn't find her getting to the rim. They swing it far side corner to Morrison. Now they get into Johnson, who trips, loses the ball, and Morrison takes it right back. Wide look at the rim. She finishes. First points for Central Michigan in almost 6 minutes, Riley.
Pivotal play right there. Needed that to kind of change the momentum of this first quarter. It has been all Bradley. So to get just that second bucket here and cut that lead back down to 10 is massive.
The other way, Perryman pulls up. That's nothing but nylon. Nice jumper there from Perryman.
Great awareness of where you are in the court. Everyone just kind of lost it and then just finds herself alone just behind the free throw line.
Pass from Taylor Anderson, who's now checked in, was deflected out of play. But good to see her back on the court for this maroon and gold squad.
Really is. And she means so much to this team. We saw it last year just with how young this squad kind of is, the experience, but also she kind of embodies everything that this team works about, the hard-nosed rebounding, the scoring. You know, the effort is there, and very important piece to see her kind of get more involved as this non-conference schedule goes on.
The junior, one of 3 returning players on this refreshed Central Michigan lineup. Anderson missed some time. You can see she's got that big old brace on, but missed some time last year with that ACL injury, but they're happy to have her back. She led the team last year in steals with 37, so she does it on both sides of the floor.
Well, they went and the referees reviewed there and decided to take him away from the free throw line and just get the inbound.
So Lawson will take the inbound. Bounce pass into Taylor Anderson, who's going to just pull it back out and reset. Lawson sizing up Abu Heshesh. They get to Michi Prude on the far side corner. She drives in, goes with the hook underneath, and she gets it to go.
That's a move where you're just trying to find some space on the court. She used the left hand to get away from the defense, gave herself a lane on the left side, and used the backboard.
Nifty move from the transfer. Chippewas cut the deficit to 10. Anderson suffocating defense. They get into Perryman, now inside to O'Hara. She's going to battle with Johnson inside. Spins back to her left. Can't finish at the rim. It was a great look. Just couldn't get it to fall.
Sometimes it happened. That was phenomenal footwork down low, but Johnson just found herself in a great position for the rebound.
Lawson the other way. That shot's working for her today. She cuts it in half. It's an 8-point Braves lead. 54 seconds to go here in the first, and the Braves will slow it down. Screen right side refused. Now they'll take it from Nelson. They'll get it into Nelson on the right side block. She goes up. She gets denied by Pruitt. Tries again. This time earns the whistle.
First time was straight up, but after that offensive rebound off that block, it just kind of came overwards. And it's so tough to try to keep your body straight and not foul in that situation after you thinking you get the rebound. But that is another good job by this Bradley offense to find themselves at the free throw line.
So again, Bradley's been living at the free throw line today. They've earned their fouls. They're going to the line. They're 4 for 5 already on the day. They'll get 2 more here with Nelson. Nelson's first one falls. She's been shooting 4 for 4 from the free throw line. Make it 5 for 5 now on the season. So she's been good at the line.
And the way that they're starting at the line in this game, too, is not something that Central Michigan wants to do. Don't want to keep putting them there because now they're 6 of 7 from the line. And Central Michigan on the other side also has 6 personal fouls already.
Way too many free points coming from the Chippewas. Lawson trying to get to the rack. Can't finish. Ball's poked around, rebounded by Taylor Anderson. She did a lot of that last year for them, even with the smaller frame. She swings it far side corner. Morrison for 3. In and out. Great look from Morrison. Just couldn't capitalize. And the shot clock is turned off here in the first. 10 seconds to go. They'll dish it around. They'll get it to Washington. Guarded heavily by Lawson. They'll get the screen left from O'Hara. Dribbling in. Left side block. Scoop and scores. The buzzer goes. 20-8. Bradley leads at the end of the first. All Braves so far. Chippewas have to...
On the same page at this point in the game. They've done a phenomenal job defensively and also just kind of turning around and getting those into points. They've done it with the half-court offense. They've done it with the fast breaks. I mean, this is a perfect start for Bradley. And how cool is it to see everybody from kind of across the world just use basketball as that universal language?
It's really awesome, and that's what you love to see about the game. It is a game that brings everybody together. Soleil Barnes pulls up from 15 feet. That one's money. She's been quiet today, but gets us going here in the second quarter.
You can see that look. She just kind of got inside the arc, beyond that elbow, just step back and drain the long two. If they're going to give her that shot, she's going to take it.
Tassone tried to finish with the left hand, can't on the right side block, and Soleil Barnes is out and running. She had 2 defenders ahead of her, so she'll slow down and wait for reinforcements. Hezzy's step gets to the rim. Travel called before she got there, though.
You could see the thought process. She just tried to slip between 2 defenders, and it was a tight squeeze. I have to give her credit for even trying that, but then just an extra step while trying to get between the Chippewa defenders.
It was a nifty first move. She fooled Tassone, thinking she was going to go to the screen. That's that veteran kind of presence up there around the arc.
I think it was more the drag of the foot and maybe not an extra step there, but that's going to happen when you're trying to get through small spaces.
Ham backing down Barnes. They'll swing it around to Smith. Smith thought about it. One more in the corner to Lawson. And an offensive foul in the paint against Darrington.
And let's see what's on the replay here, because I think they're just fighting for positioning. You can see kind of a shove one way, and then Darrington just backing right up into O'Hara down low. That's it. That's the physical contact you're going to see below the rim for both of these teams.
Nelson now working in the paint. Fadeaway jumper, good. She's leading this squad with 9 points so far. Off to a quick start for the 7th all-time scorer in points in a game. Ham for 3. Can't get it to go. Rebound hauled in by the Australian O'Hara.
O'Hara is putting in some work down there below. I mean, she held off a couple of Chippewas, but she's been great at boxing out and putting herself in a great position.
McDougal trying to work through Smith. Wide open. Abu Heshesh can't get it to go. Hauled in by Ham.
Those are the things that this Central Michigan defense needs to clean up. You get lucky with the miss, but can't leave a shooter out there.
And Lawson leaves it on the floor for a jump ball. Luckily, it will stay with Central Michigan. But again, Chippewas being a little sloppy and careless with the basketball. On the other side, Bradley doing a good job working through that suffocating defense Chippewas trying to impose.
You talk to coaches, you look at that two different ways. There's turnovers, and then there's forced turnovers. So one of them you're just kind of dropping yourself. The other one, the other team's forcing. That one, Lawson just dribbled it off her foot and nearly had a turnover.
Ham gets it inside to Johnson. Johnson trying to work into the middle of the lane. She'll give that nasty hook, and it goes.
O'Hara playing that defense we were talking about before, and Johnson just said, okay, you're not going to let me in, so I'm just going to go over you.
Yeah, we talked to Kristen Haney. She said she brings an unguardable hook shot. You saw it there. McDougal on the outside. Thought to go to Nelson in the corner, but she kicks it back out to the top of the key. 12 seconds on the shot clock, 7:30 to go. They get to O'Hara. She'll dribble to her right. Barnes tried the back door. Now she kicks out for 3. Can't get it to go. Didn't quite get her feet under her.
Good decision with a short shot clock there, though. Just knowing where you are. Know you have to get a shot up, even if it doesn't go in.
Riley Smith the other way from range. She stays hot from Ann Arbor. 24-13 Chippewas trail.
Great looking shot. Just a high arc, kind of drops in from the rafters from 3. That is a massive shot that Central Michigan needs. Now they've just been hovering around 10 points for this really first half.
Now Smith trying to block McDougal at the rim. Can't. Good finish above the height of Smith. It's back to a 13-point lead. Smith thought about it again. Now she'll drive that right side block. Gets it inside to double coverage to Johnson. Can't finish strong. Smith comes in and gets it herself. Back-to-back buckets for Riley Smith. Don't let her start getting hot here. Tempo starting to be sped up by Bradley. We'll get to Nelson on the far side wing. Heshesh thought about it. Tries to get in. Battles with Ham. She gets the travel called on her. Ham kind of stuck a hand up in the ball. Got her off balance.
It was just the wrong time to try to pick up your dribble there. I mean, great defense by Ham coming up to put pressure on, but it's never good when you're falling to the ground and you're also looking at the ref at the same time. You know that she was hoping for some more contact there to maybe help her out, but that's just a turnover that could have been avoided.
I think it's interesting always because you see these replays and a whistle blown, they both look at you like, who's it going on? What are we doing here? Maddie Morrison wide open, top of the key, 3 off the front iron, no good.
If you're Central Michigan, you need those to start falling here in this second quarter because the scoring is not going to be easy. You've had some looks, but they have to start going in.
They're shooting 16% from around the arc. They've had some good looks, just unable to capitalize. McDougal finds Abu Heshesh. She'll back down Pruitt. Fadeaway jumper. She can't miss today.
That free throw line is really her best friend right now. That time a little bit closer on the back shield, but just a spin and a fadeaway. And she's creating her own space for those shots.
Johnson inside. Battling with Vick. Goes back to the hook shot. Gets it to go. Taylor Johnson working well with the hook shot at the rim.
Just a good sense of what is in the paint for Taylor Johnson. Knows that she's not going to be able to back herself all the way down and use the backboard. So she's using the hook shot. A little bit more float on that one.
They get it to Perryman from range. Off back iron. So 28-17 Bradley. Lawson spinning, trying to find the lane. Dishes to Ham. Wide open 3. Off the right and front iron. No good. Now it's a 3-on-2 push from Bradley. They'll slow it down. And it's on the baseline, though. Perriman finishing from the corner look.
CMU's just been sitting 10, 11 points away, and once they get back to that spot, they can't score to cut it down to single digits. Have to give a ton of credit here to Bradley for keeping the pressure on.
30-17 Bradley. Johnson, they're going to the hot hand in the paint. Goes back to the hook. That one just too far. Ham battles in low for the rebound and gets it to go. 30-21.
Friendly bounce that time on the putback. I guess it pays to play at home.
It does. It definitely does. Vick at the top of the key. Handoff. Barnes sizing up Lawson. They find Vick, top of the key, wide open three, drains it. The pick and pop works to perfection for the Braves. Lawson speeding the other way. Vick comes over to help. Lawson too strong, trying to attack at the rim.
Here defensively for CMU, they just have to stop losing some of those shooters in that rotation around the arc. I know it's tough, but we've seen it at the corner, the top of the key. It's been open and a lot of times for Bradley.
Good help there from the Chippewas. They get that one to not fall. And now they've got advantage here. Lawson in double coverage, finishing at the rim, and she's looking for one more.
Really,
coast to coast.
Really needed that shot there to push the tempo and Central break and try to get it back within single digits.
Yeah, coming into this one, you thought that really Central Michigan would be the ones controlling the pace. Really, they want to thrive in that high pace energy, but Bradley took it on the chin, and they're working well in it. Jess Lawson at the line, the senior from Vegas, gets her and one to go. So it's now a 33-22 Bradley lead. And here comes the press from the Chippewas.
Have to try something different to just try to knock them out of the rhythm on offense. And you don't mind to have court press here, trying to slow things down.
Nayla Ham living on Solia Barnes. Barnes loses it a little bit. Energy from the Chippewa bench, though. They like it. And this time, Ham picks the pocket. She loses it at the rim, though, and we're going the other way. Pushing it up, 2-on-1. Chippewa's able to corral. Barnes left wide open at the three, but she'll pull it back out, reset the offense here. Darrington pressing up high on McDermott. Perriman tried to find McDermott, crashing to the rim. Out of bounds. That's a tough turnover there from the Braves.
That's the first real, true miscommunication I think we've seen from Bradley here today on the offensive side of things. Just trying to find a cutter. Pass went behind, rolled out of bounds. If you're Bradley here, I don't think that's too much to sweat. Just have to get it a better, pass and communication on the next turn.
Sabu Heshesh will try to press a little bit on the other end on Jess Lawson. She'll dump it off to Riley Smith. Smith looking in the middle lane. She finds Taylor Anderson top of the key. Tries to find the cutting Ham, but it ends up in the hands of Sarai Darrington. Tries to go up, can't finish. Jump ball called. This time, going to go to Bradley.
It all started there with a risky pass, trying to get down low in the post. It was knocked away. Darrington picks it up, and then she's just mobbed by Bradley defenders. Tried to get a quick shot up just to make use of the shot clock, but Bradley was not allowing anything there.
2 minutes to go, just over 2 minutes to go here in the second. It's an 11-point Bradley lead. Perriman right back to Abu Heshesh. That 15-footer is just here from her. She's over double digits, first one in this contest.
I don't think there's been anything today that has been more consistent than her mid-range jumper. I mean, that has been a great source of offense for this Bradley squad.
Taylor Anderson trying to get the rim. She draws the foul and ends up sprawled on the court, helped up quickly by her teammates. She'll head to the line, but that's a little bit of that versatility we saw from her. She was more of a shooter in the Michigan game on Thursday, now showing off that little bit of driving sense we knew she had last year.
It's one of the things I think this CMU team misses the most about, the early portion, or I guess the first game of this season where you didn't have a Taylor Anderson. Not just the rebounding and the defense side of things, but the aggressiveness, the confidence to get to the rim and try to score some points. She doesn't get it in there, but ends up at the line.
Second free throw is good. She makes 2 of 2 at the line, and Central Michigan has really struggled at the line all season, shooting about 60% from the line. That's way too many points left open on the table. It's kicked out to Washington, one of those true freshmen for the Braves. She'll size up Lawson, trying to dish it around. They'll move it around counterclockwise. They get it in the hands of McDermott. She'll screen right for Abu Heshesh. Shot thrown up by Nelson. A little bit rushed. She got iron, but just a rush shot there, Riley.
I think the six-man here, McGurk Arena, may have had her off the shot clock.
Taylor Anderson trying to get to the rim. This time she's successful. Taylor Anderson, welcome back to McGurk.
I think that was the idea she had last time. This time just didn't get the contacts.
Abu Heshesh finds McDermott at the rim. She finishes through 3 Chippewas, keeps it on an 11-point Bradley lead.
There's that versatility, the size and the speed that we're talking about for this Bradley team. Just down low, knew she had a good shot.
Darrington up and under, drew the contact and the foul. Almost got a good look for another and one. A minute to go here in the second quarter. That Chippewa offense, a little bit more life. It feels like they've worn down Bradley just a little bit, but they do still trail by 11. They've got to find a way on the defensive side, Riley, to get things started.
I know there's still that deficit there with the 11 points, but yeah, I think you have to be happy for Central Michigan and how the fouls for themselves have slowed down and how they've kind of forced the hand of Bradley a little bit. Now Bradley with the 7 personal fouls in this game compared to CMU's 6. So, you know, that's good, but you have to make use of your time at the free throw line.
Darrington can't convert both. She was 2 for 5 coming into this one. Now make it 2 for 7. One of the many anguishes really hurting this Central Michigan team. Barnes, with under 50 seconds to go, gets it to Nelson. She loses it, and it's scooped up by Smith the other way. She's running tough with O'Hara, trying to finish. It's hauled in by Darrington. She throws up a shot and is fouled. So now she's got to try to make amends at the line for the Chippewas. Well, a costly error gives the Chippewas a chance for 2.
Like the aggressiveness to try to go coast to coast there if you're Smith, just kind of one-on-one getting into the paint, but that was a perfect miss there because the rebound went straight to Darrington, who gets the shot up, can't make it, but again at the free throw line, and again you have to convert.
Those are the best types of misses. If you're going to miss, those are the ones you want. And again, Darrington missing at the line. She's now 0 for 3 at the line within the last span of about 20 seconds. 41 seconds to go in the second. Trying to cut that lead to 10. Darrington's next free throw is good. So now it's a 10-point deficit for the hometown maroon and gold.
4 of 7 could definitely be worse, but when you look across 6 of 7 for Bradley, you know, at this point in the game, it's not too much of a difference. But if those numbers balloon, Bradley definitely going to benefit from more shots at the free throw line. So these ones early in this first half have to have them, because now it's down to 10. You get a stop here. If you can get a bucket, makes it look a lot better going into halftime.
O'Hara tries to find the cutting Barnes. This one tipped out of bounds. They say last touched by Barnes. There were a couple Chippewa arms in there, but they'll take that. Now the shot clock's off.
Yeah, dream scenario there. Like I said, had to get the stop. You're at a 10-point deficit right now. You can get a bucket before going into the locker room where you don't have to take the shot until you want it here with no shot clock on there. So that is big. You know, I think for a confidence thing, but also just getting it as close as you can before you can regroup. Make some changes.
And Chippewas will also make a change at center. They'll bring in Taylor Johnson. Will now dish to the outside. Chippewas looking to take this last shot. Jess Lawson with it in her hands. 17 seconds left here in the second. Chippewas looking to cut this deficit below 10 to head into the break. He got off to a slow start, but here in the second they've come alive. Here's Lawson. Signs it up Nelson. Gets to the rim. Whistle blown. This one's going to be on the floor. Officials really quick to draw that one dead.
Yeah, better than just leaving the hope of maybe a couple of shots at the line. But you can see right here, just wanting that ISO type of ball from Lawson. Gets to the free throw line and had the touch just before she went up for that shot. So still ended at the free throw line because of the amount of fouls there are for Bradley. But you'll take that. You know, 9 personal fouls, 3 different players with 2 fouls for Bradley here in this first half.
Well, Lawson's been the leading scorer so far for the Chippewas. They need some free throws from her, and she misses the first one. So at least trying to cut it to 9 at this point with 7.2 seconds left in the second here. Chippewas in total really rough at the free throw line today. Next free throw waved off. Lane violation, Taylor Anderson. That's a crucial one. I mean, you make the free throw, and then you get it waved off.
Yeah, it's one thing to miss, but it's one thing to have another mistake that kind of takes it away from you.
So Chippewas 4 for 8 from the line. Abu Heshesh Looking to take the final shot of this one. Can't get it to go. Got the look, though. But nonetheless, Bradley got to be happy with that first half output. They lead it by 10.
Yeah, strong performance in the first half. Still have another half of basketball to go. But if you can get, they've just been kind of getting sliced up below the rim. So they need to change that. And then on the other side, just turn it into some offense. But for Bradley, I think they just need to do a lot more of what they did in that first half. They found open shots. They played some good defense. They played with tempo. And they looked really good in that first half.
Yeah, their height and size advantage is really showing right now within the paint, keeping the Chippewas out of that area. Well, Chippewas will start the ball with this one out of the break. Mosley will get the screen from Johnson left side, dish it around to Ham, who gets the start here in the second half. There's a 15-footer from her. That just is a little too strong off the back iron.
And not sure if I like that shot so quick in the shot clock there, but hey, when you open, you got to take your looks.
So Barnes sizing up Ham this time through. Gets the way to the rim. She can't even find the backboard on that one. Misses entirely. Chippewas push it ahead to Mosley. Mosley slows it up. Looked inside. Now they're dishing it around the arc to Ham. Ham directing traffic. Gets it inside to Johnson. Johnson battling with O'Hara. There's that hook again. That keeps falling. That's her third basket made around the rim. All three have been on that nifty hook.
That one even more important, too, because of two defenders in her face. Good footwork, good form on the hook, and that's been a shot that's been extremely hard for the Bradley defense to stop.
Chippewas the first to score out of the break. O'Hara will try to respond on the other side. She'll battle with Johnson. Goes to the left side block. Gets it to go. Got her going one way. Went back the other.
That is a battle that we have going on in the paint. And that one, another good footwork, just turned inside, found herself open on the baseline enough to use the glass.
Ham looking inside. She'll cross over Barnes. Gets the right side blocking. Gets blocked out of bounds. Possession stays with the Chippewas, but Ham thought she could get to the rim. Barnes tracking her all the way.
Central Michigan knows from her time at Toledo just what Barnes can do on defense. And that time, not getting in front and having the chance to cause a foul, but just swiping that ball from behind. That is a great play defensively.
And just a bad pass there, out of play, and that's a bad turnover for the Chippewas. They could have cut it down below 10. Rather now Bradley has a chance to extend their lead early.
Well, going into halftime, we only saw the 10 combined turnovers. It was a very clean game in terms of turnovers, just more missed shots than we're used to. That's just something that can't happen, especially off the inbound.
Here comes Nelson, stops the free throw line, kicks it back outside to McDermott. Now inside to O'Hara. She'll spin around, throws up a hook of her own, gets it to go.
Have a lot of respect for how O'Hara carries herself in the paint. That time, a little shove, some pressure in there. Not too much for the foul, but just enough to get herself open.
Pass from Lawson is nicked off of Abu Heshesh. And it's called the other way, but there's Mosley picking Barnes' pocket. She was looking into the middle of the paint, and Mosley just trailing the play, got there. Ham now going the other way. Tries to dish it off to Johnson. Johnson gets it up, but cannot get it to go. Chippewa shots right now feeling a lot more rushed out of the break. Looking a lot similar to that first quarter of play.
Well, sometimes you go into the halftime with a 10-point deficit, and you kind of feel that pressure that you need to score, but you don't have to get it all back at once.
So whistle's blown. It's going to be a foul underneath. That one's going to be called against Taylor Johnson. Once again, just trying to battle down low with O'Hara.
And you can see they're getting wrapped up there, and Johnson had the hook in. As soon as you hook that arm and you're working down low, that's going to be a pretty quick whistle.
Yeah, and after that last one, it just looked like Johnson didn't even want to let O'Hara get the ball down low. So Bradley will get it in. Barnes heaves a quick three. Can't get it to go. Lisa Tassone now into the game. She's trying to go coast to coast with it. Finds Mosley. Wide side corner. Can't get it to go. Ham battling for the rebound, though, and hauls it in. Tassone working it around. Mosley fakes the shot, now drives in. Stopped at the block, kicks it out to Pruitt. One more to Ham. Ham tries to get inside to Darrington. Pass went too wide. Out of play on the Chippewas. Just a bad pass again. Self-inflicted wounds for this Chippewas offense.
Had a good look. They were doing a good job of moving it around, but you're right. She saw someone posted up, kind of back-to-back down there. Was looking for Darrington, but pass is just too wide. There's not much you can do with it.
Yeah, and it looked like Darrington had her sealed on the right side. Ham thought she was going to go to the left side. Just a miscommunication there. Abu Heshesh swings it to the top. McDermott. One more to Barnes. Now she gets the screen from McDermott, and she traveled. She tried to take the step back approach a little bit. She thought she was going to shoot it, then wanted to pass. just moving a little bit too fast for her feet.
Sometimes gravity just works against you. She tried to stop right there, and you can see just drag that left foot. Maybe an extra step in there, too, but I think it was just mind was moving faster than the body.
Threw it with the ball on the near side wing. Top of the key, Ham. She'll drive to that left side block. She's rejected up in front by McDermott. Just another rush shot from this Chippewas offense. Abu Eshesh with it, gets the screen left side, McDermott. Thought about the jumper, now goes to Nelson, who heaves the three. No good. Tipped around underneath. McDougal found her way in there, but Chippewas come up with it. Mosley gets it inside to Darrington, whistle blown, and McDermott cannot believe it there.
That foul's just coming from, it looks like from our vantage point that she just had an arm around Darrington and maybe more of an elbow on the back there before trying to reach around and swat it away.
And she was in the right spot down low, just once again that contact on the other side. So the Chippewas keep possession underneath the hoop. 41-29 Bradley lead. And an offensive foul, they're going to call the block.
I believe that one's going to be on Darrington, too. So just another, turnover, foul, whatever you want to call it, off an inbound pass. It just can't continue to happen, and it is on Darrington, her first personal foul.
Vick gets it up top to Barnes. Barnes pulls it back out. Pruitt trying to defend her. Right side block drive. Whistle blown. Good job from Barnes to draw the foul there. She's just so used to getting around the rim, getting to the line, or if not, just finishing.
Well, she's experienced, and she's showing that with this team. In today's landscape of college basketball, so many new players playing with each other because of the transfer rules and how certain things go. But, I mean, that is so big to have someone with her type of experience on a team like this.
Her first free throw falls, and you've got to imagine that comes from somebody like her father figure who actually played at the University of Ohio from 1990 to 91. So that family, no stranger to the MAC. Her second free throw falls. Is now 43-29 lead for the Braves. Tassone gets it to Pruitt. Pruitt to the rim. Once again, gets the left underneath finish. 43-31.
You're going to make a quick decision to decide to take it yourself right there. That's exactly how it has to go. You don't want to take early shots in that clock and it go for nothing and then just go right back to Bradley. So great shot, great execution.
Barnes left wide open from range. Can't get it to go from the back iron. That was the best look Barnes has had all night. Pruitt underneath, gets it to go again. Good transition offense from the Chippewas. Deficit back to 10.
I was talking about how much you needed Lawson in the second half. Well, at this point, you just have to find the hot hand. The last couple of possessions, it's been Darrington. So if that's what's going to happen, whether it's solo or backdoor cut, you need those points.
Vick hands off to Perryman. Nelson, one more to Barnes. Gets the half-hearted screen. Barnes in the middle. Vick had possession of it. She had position. Darrington got a hand in there and at least knocked it away.
Well, good defense here by Darrington, because if she doesn't knock that away, that's just an easy layup right under the basket. I think she was playing some dangerous defense there, being in front of the post player, and so just good job to poke it out.
Now Chippewas really starting to amp up the aggression on defense right now, trying to make the Braves uncomfortable. Barnes, jump stop, floater, got it.
Uses some shiftiness to get through the lane there and just taking charge.
Tassone tries to get it in, and Vick gave a little bit of a push off there to Darrington. .30.
She is 2 of 6, but doesn't need a ton of time with the ball.
She's been leading this offense. None of the game for the Chippewas, though. Maya Smith. She gets it inside to Darrington. Darrington goes spinning back to the right block. Draws the foul underneath from O'Hara. She'll go to the line. Good job there from the Chippewas to strike early on that possession.
One of the things for Barnes, too, that doesn't show up on some of the stat sheets and stuff is just the defense that she plays. She's good at getting back. She's good at kind of slowing things down, and that really translates to the rest of this Bradley team.
When we talked to Coach Popovic Goss, she kind of talks about that championship culture. That's somebody who's experienced a lot of championship culture over at Toledo. First free throw for Darrington falls. She's had her struggles in the first half at the line, hoping to make up for it here down the stretch. It's an 11-point Bradley lead. Make it 10. They're 45-35, 4:45 to go in the third. Abu Heshesh, a little bit quiet here in the first 5 minutes of the third quarter. So swinging around to McDougal and hands off to Perryman. Perryman, the former track star, swings it to Barnes. They go right back to Perryman, trying to drive by with that speed. Gets her pocket picked by Smith, but she can't get it. Pruitt tries to reach in. This one finds O'Hara. Throws up the three at the buzzer. Way too strong off the glass. Shot clock violation for the Braves.
There's just great defense there by the Chippewas. And I know you kind of talked about Abu Heshesh just kind of having a slower start to the second half. Well, I think Lisa Tesson has been playing her well one-on-one. I think it's a big reason that she hasn't necessarily disappeared, but haven't seen the same sort of output and great team defense overall.
Maddie Morrison, the freshman, has been quiet, but she gets it into Johnson. He's got to come out to the baseline. They get it to Smith at the top. Bounce back to Tesson. Tesson, step back three, airballed it. And O'Hara went for the rebound. She was out of bounds. A little bit of mistake there. If she would have just let that one go, kept her box out going, that's Bradley Ball.
And just very fortunate there. Just trying to go for a rebound, keep the tempo of things up, and then stepping on the baseline before she could get rid of it.
Tesson will take it out of bounds. Gets it to Morrison. Barnes on her. She'll drive baseline. Spinning. Shot. No good. Airballed it, but hauled in on the other end by Tesson, who finishes it on the offensive glass.
Just a good second chance shot there. Not too much thinking. Just gets the ball, throws it back up.
Abu Heshesh dishes it near side corner. McDougal for three. Way too long. Tesson kind of batted it down, but luckily 4 Chippewas there to help her out. Tesson's getting the screen left side from Johnson. They get it to Pruitt. Pruitt looking inside for Johnson, trying to get position on O'Hara. Smith fakes the three, goes to Tesson. She'll take the three, makes the adjustment. It's good. Chippewas within 5, 3 minutes to go in the third.
Well, a 7-0 run over the last nearly 2 minutes now, Nathan. That is what you need to get back into this game. Came out, played some defense, took some great shots on offense, and now you're in a position where you're in striking distance.
Lisa Tesson makes the...
And starting 122 consecutive games. This has got to be an interesting game for her to watch because both Taylor Anderson and Lisa Tesson are her previous teammates. I'm sure it's hard to watch this game because, of course, you want your own team to win, but your alma mater always has a special place in your heart. Either way, I'm sure CMU is happy to have her back in the arena today.
I'm sure she does, Christina. I mean, just a fun thing to come back to your alma mater, see some old faces, not a lot, but see some old faces and get to spend 1-2 days back in Mount Pleasant.
Well, she was such a pivotal part of those Central Michigan teams during her time here, whether it was the scoring, the rebounding, a lot of double-doubles coming from Jahari Smith.
And an offensive foul on the other end for Bradley. Amy O'Hara, a little bit of an elbow there, trying to screen and keep the screen going. She's got too much of Maya Smith there.
And I don't think it was as much the elbow as it was her kind of moving that way. Not necessarily getting set. Feet were set. Body was kind of moving around. That'll get you the illegal screen.
So Chippewas trying to capitalize. Again, they've cut the deficit to 5. Maddie Morrison, jumper can't go. Gets her own rebound. Dishes it out to Taylor Johnson. Tesson finds a wide open Pruitt in the middle. She can't finish at the rim. So Bradley avoids the scare there. Still up by 5. Barnes gets the screen from O'Hara. Now it's Abu Heshesh. Nelson backing down Smith on that left side block. Back out to McDougal. Barnes gets the screen one more time, trying to drive. She'll pull up from 15 feet. That's a free throw. That's money. 7-point lead now for the Braves with 2 minutes to go here in the third. Pruitt gets it to Morrison. Morrison got a good look last time, just couldn't capitalize. She goes between the legs, dishes it to Johnson. Johnson, a little 15-footer, can't get it to fall. She runs in and gets her own rebound, though. The offensive glass for the Chippewas really playing a factor now. Tesson, Johnson in the paint, can't go. Gets another offensive rebound. Whistle blown on the Braves.
The longer that scramble goes on, obviously a good couple of offensive rebounds for Central Michigan, but the more she kept going at it, you could see just the size playing a factor. Then they're trying to tear down the rebound too, and sometimes they're just going to grab all arm.
Johnson, a little bit of stat padding down low in the paint, gets a couple rebounds there, and now earns herself a trip to the line with a chance to cut this deficit back to 5. Johnson's first free throw is good, and that's something in the first half the Chippewas struggled with at the line. They're now 7 for 11, but those 4 misses were pretty big there in the first half. Her second free throw, also good. That's a great look from the line for Johnson. Back to a 5-point deficit. 1:30 to go here in the third. O'Hara with it at the top of the key. Dishes to Barnes. Now she'll get the screen from O'Hara. Step back. 2-pointer from range. Can't go. Whistle blown, and they'll get Riley Smith for the reach-in foul there, trying to go for the rebound.
She was getting boxed out, just trying to reach around, make a play. Almost did it, but not without some contact in there.
And that's something sometimes, you know, one of those many freshmen, there's growing pains. So when you're boxed out like that, you gotta understand you can't reach around in those scenarios. I know sometimes, especially with the height, back in high school, you can get away with that. Here, it's a little bit tougher too.
It's different, you know, and these are two physical teams out there today. You can tell the effort is there. They're trying to really lock in on the execution, and Central Michigan has to be happy about the production here in the second half. But you know that this Bradley team isn't just going to roll over. You know, they had a large lead. Now it's down to around 6 or 7 points, depending on what happens here.
Second free throw for McDermott, off back iron, hauled in by Jess Lawson. So 1 of 2 at the line for Bradley. It's now a 6-point lead for them. Ham's got it, far side wing. Now it goes to Smith. 1 more to Lawson for 3 in the corner. No good. Battle for the rebound on the floor. Smith just heaves it up before going out of bounds, and Nelson gets it. Barnes slowing it down. Ham on her. Gets the screen left side for McDermott. Now handoff to Abu Eshes. Spinning into the lane with Smith on her. Fade away. No good.
For Smith, who we didn't really see in the first half, that is a tough task to come in and guard really their best ball handler.
Lawson the other way. Tried to spin it at the rim. Couldn't. And now Barnes pushes it. 2 on 3. She'll recognize it. Slow it down. 23 seconds. Shot clock's on. About a 1 second differential. Nelson, far side corner. She'll call for Barnes to come her way. They get it in the hands of their leading scorer. Barnes averaging 15 points. She's been held in check, though, today by the Chippewas, and she just sends one at the knees of Nelson, out of bounds. Now 5 seconds in the third here for the Chippewas, who trail by 6.
We're just watching this team work. You've got Nelson, you know, talking to Barnes about what was wrong with that pass, or it was. You love that type of communication, trying to make it better for next time. I think she just said, basically, I don't want that pass down low. I want it more towards the chest. It was a short bounce, not an easy lane.
Lawson tried to work through the double team. Barnes draws the charge, and now 5 seconds becomes 3 seconds, and another look for the Braves.
Well, it's just tough because she really didn't have anywhere to go. Abu Heshesh was kind of pushing her towards the line or the sideline, and then nowhere to go but just kind of trying to run through somebody and hope that it's called the other way.
Yeah, those difference between the block and the charge. Tries to get it down low. Nelson's going to draw the foul. Ham was just riding her back all the way through.
For Central Michigan, it's all about how you're going to close out in the fourth quarter, just kind of cutting the lead down and whatnot. But the ending of this third period has really been almost a disaster. Now, you haven't given up a massive amount of points in the short time, but the fouls have come. Offensively, had the ball, had a chance to get your own points, but instead it's back here. What happens off the inbound? Another foul. So now up to 13 team fouls, which is pretty even with Bradley to this point, but you have the edge in that kind of coming into this end of the third.
Nelson's first free throw is good. And you look at, so far, the box of this one, you want to put the first quarter out of your head if you're Central Michigan. Good start for Bradley, 20-8. But then Chippewas have hung with them. They win the second quarter, 19-17, and then 15-12 so far. Make it 15-13 as Nelson hits both at the line. It's now an 8-point lead. Lawson throws the half-court heave. Too strong. So a 50-42 lead for the Braves. They picked it up there at the end of the third. Now they've got to try to run it out. It's been all Barnes.
Those hook shots, I mean, it has been great. Obviously, hit a couple of free throws in there, too. But that is what Central Michigan needed down low to kind of have that presence and not just offensively, but defensively switch up this game.
Coach Haney wasn't lying when she said it's an unstoppable hook.
Yeah, no, she's hit a couple of really good shots today with very little room.
O'Hara with it. And her pass is intercepted by Lawson. Quick foul there. Smart foul, if you will, from Abu Hashesh. Not letting Lawson get out in transition and run. That's how she really gets things going for this Chippewas team.
There hasn't been much, wrong with Bradley's game so far today. So to come out in this fourth quarter and immediately get that turnover, but not just a turnover, but turn it into a foul and get to set up your half-court offense here. I know Lawson really wanted to streak there and see if she could get some easy points, but either way, that's a big shift to start this quarter.
Chippewa looking to capitalize off the turnover. They get it to Morrison. Morrison sizing up Barnes. Into the block. She'll try a fadeaway. Too much on that one, but Smith gets the rebound, ends up on the deck, and it'll be called a push by Bradley.
That was close, too. I mean, they called a push, but she went to the floor, and I think she was touching the ball and nearly the end line at the same time. You can see she falls, and then right there, she's kind of got the ball between her legs, but then her foot lands out of bounds. But luckily for her, that foul is called.
It becomes, did she have possession? I know it's an NFL Sunday, but did she have possession? Lawson looking for the inbound. Finds Morrison. Quick pull-up. Can't get it to go.
Just been the lack of offensive consistency that has Central Michigan behind in this one. They've shown spurts. But you need that complete game offensively to get out in front of a team like this.
And we're trying to dig out of that almost 8-point deficit at the break. Or at the end of the first, excuse me. In the paint, McDougal can't get it to go. Tough defense there from the freshman, Maddie Morrison. Amaya Smith for three. In and out. Got the look. And then Morrison came crashing down on the boards and drew a foul the other way. A perfect look. Amaya Smith had it there and then
touched about every part of the rim there before it popped out. And, I mean, you can't not take the shot with that sort of look. A good extra feed there by Riley Smith. And just not exactly how you wanted it to go. But I think there's the part of you that has to remember that this was a 16-point lead for Bradley in that the second quarter, 24-8. Things have changed. You got some momentum on your side. Have to build on it.
Barnes gets it inside to Nelson. Nelson finishing and gets the and one. That's a big one there for Bradley. They got the look inside. Amaya Smith trying to battle. Smith helps in coverage. Can't get it, though.
Oh, that play was great until that left arm of Riley Smith came down and kind of over the shoulder. And that is where that foul comes from. She was straight up for the most part. It was just that over the head kind of swat with that left hand. And Nelson finds her way to the free throw line.
Nelson leading all scorers today. She's got 13, make it 14. And that's looking exactly like the last time these squads met. Over in Bradley, it was 13 points, 2 steals, 5 rebounds, and an assist for her.
Well, 6 of 6 from the free throw line, too. That's big in a game like this.
Darrington trying to work on O'Hara. She gets blocked trying to go up. So Barnes slowing it down. 8:30 to go here in the fourth quarter. Now up to an 11-point Braves lead again. Pass goes a little wide for McDougal. Intercepted by Pruitt. Bounces off to her feet. She says, I guess, please, Tassone, you take this. Lawson the other way. Pulls up from 15 feet. She got it to go. There's Jess Lawson's first bucket out of the break.
Good decision there to not just run into the teeth of the defense right below the rim. Find your spot, quick jumper. Not a lot of indecision.
Chippewa's hanging around. They need another stop, though. O'Hara gets the circle around from Barnes. They get it to Nelson. Nelson looking. McDougal driving left side. Spinning in the middle. Tries to throw to Nelson. This one's going to end up in the backcourt. Over and back. A crucial turnover from the Chippewas again. And now it becomes, can the offense capitalize, Riley?
But that's been the question we've been asking all game. They've gotten some stops, especially here in the second half, which it's helped for the most part. But now that lead is ballooned back to 9 points at this point. So it's a situation with nearly 7.5 minutes left. Then it's a no-doubter. You have to come through with points on possessions like these when they give you the ball for free.
14 turnovers now on the day for Bradley. Tassone dribble drives right. She's picked up by McDougal. Lawson top of the key. Drives left, finds her way, throws it a little stiffly off the glass. Whistle blown. Taylor Johnson just flailing around a little bit, trying to get the rebound.
What's the intensity in the paint? We've seen it. You know, for the most part, it's been her versus Vic or her versus O'Hara down low. That time just had an opportunity to try to go over some of those Bradley players, and in the process gets the foul.
Trying to work through the press. They do it well. Barnes now with it. Ham going to play tight coverage on her. Dish it around Vic. They move around clockwise. Finds a near side three for McDougal. Too strong. An offensive rebound from Abu Heshesh, and she gets fouled while doing so. So there it is, just the tenacity and a good kick out there. Good fight from Abu Heshesh to get the rebound.
That foul was just coming from Lisa Tesson, trying to fight for it too. But been so impressed with Abu Heshesh. I know we haven't seen as much offensively here in the second half, but you have that defense thinking the whole time. 11 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, a steal, a block. She's been everywhere where they've needed her to be.
McDougal gets the inbound right back to herself. Now they'll let Barnes set things up with 7 minutes to go. She drives into the lane and loses it right when she had a clear path. Ham picks it up, and Pruitt's going to take it the other way. Pruitt gets it to Tesson. Tesson drives into the middle lane. Ham pulls the three. Can't get it to go. Chippewas from around the arc have struggled today, Riley.
Yeah, it's been tough. 15%, 2 of 13 overall from deep. But we knew these two teams, neither of them shot great from 3. So just an added bonus if you hit some of those. And you just think about how much it would change the look of both of these teams if they could consistently hit the outside shot.
A combined 25 attempts. And here's another one from Barnes. Can't get it to go. Only 3 makes today on both sides. Tesson finds her way through traffic. Dumps it off to Pruitt. Pruitt throws one up through contact. Got it to go. Chippewas still in this one.
Well, it wasn't a ton of contact down low. I think Abu Heshesh was, trying to get a foul because Darrington had done such a good job of those backdoor cuts to the rim. But that time she just said, okay, you're going to fall over. I'm going to lay it in.
Lawson, tight coverage on Abu Heshesh. They get it around to Vic. Vic thought about it, now finds a cutting McDougal, who finishes at the rim. Just an excellent backdoor cut from McDougal and the Braves.
Those are big buckets for Bradley because, you're not trying to really lengthen this lead. The most important thing is that you keep it here. So as long as you answer the scores, you're good.
Tesson, step back 3, can't get it to go. Rebounded by Ham, but it'll be called a jump ball. And that'll stay with the maroon and gold. Chippewas keep possession. They need that one. A good look from Tesson again. She almost had another one. That would be the only player to make 2 threes today. And with 5:20 to go, Chippewas in the basket about every time down the floor right now, Riley.
Yeah, with how the Bradley offense is playing here in this last stretch of play, yeah, you need to just answer buckets with buckets, but more importantly, you need to find some stopping some buckets. So it's just a matter of can the defense kind of come together with the offense here in this last stretch of play. See if you get yourself in there, because you got it down to 5 points at one point here in this second half. So have to see if you can get it back there and then add to it.
Tesson looking for an inbound, tried to get it to Smith, who slides for it, gives it to Lawson. Now back to Tesson. Tesson thought about driving right. Foul underneath. Once again, Johnson, Vic fighting for position. It's bloodbath down there in the paint tonight.
It has. I mean, just fighting for position to box out. That time she's trying to get herself some points. You can tell. There's a little too much contact from Vic. She was trying to post up on the block, and we've seen that's where that hook shot kind of starts to take form, and Vic didn't want it to get there.
That's a foul you'll take if you're Bradley. You'd rather not have that position and work from a foul situation. They get into Ham around the screen. He's got to pull it back out. Her pass knocked out of bounds. Looks like Perryman got a hand on it there. Stays with the Chippewas. 5:10 to go. 55-46 Bradley lead. So a zone more of a look from Bradley right now. Chippewas trying to play the screen game. They find Tesson, picked up quickly by Katie Wade, who's checked in for the first time today for the Braves. Just Lawson finds her way to the left side of the lane. Traveling violation called. She took a step before she got her move.
think it was right after the dribble right there. She's posted up here. You can see right on the bottom of your screen, and then drags that foot as she goes up the right side of the lane. I think just some indecision in her mind there about where she wanted to go with the ball.
Wade's foul trying to pass it around. Riley Smith came up to help. She'll get called for another foul today. So the Chippewas trying their best to try.
Unsaid, but 2 rebounds in there. She's played 29 minutes today. And Nelson has been a big part of this Bradley offense. She's
been able to score in the paint a little bit within the arc and finding her way to the line, which has really helped the Braves. And right now they've got a chance to extend it with their senior, Katie Wade, at the line. And Riley, Wade actually began the 21-22 season as a member of the staff, as a team manager. Now she's here, suited up for the Braves, and makes her first free throw.
You'll see that every now and then. You know, you can't take those managers and anybody on staff for granted, especially, you know, in basketball. They're out there, they're helping with scout and helping you get preps, and a lot of them come from deep playing backgrounds themselves, and sometimes it just works out.
And she converts 2 of 2 at the line, getting the love as she heads to the bench. She adds this lead now back above 10 for the Braves, and they're going to apply a little bit of half-court pressure. That pass to Ham, too much bounces. Ham got a weird bounce, out of bounds. That's a tough one for the Chippewas.
Well, it was not the cleanest pass in the world, just an attempted bounce pass by Tassone, but it just bounces out of bounds. You've done such a good job of not having the turnovers all day, but it can't start to come here in the final few minutes when you're trying to make your final stretch.
And the Braves give it right back there. Another bounce pass that goes a little long, comes over our heads, and now the Chippewas, it's almost a blank slate again. 4:39, still trailing by 11. Tassone over the timeline, leans over the dribble, moves Morrison out of the way, she'll drive. Dishes top of the key, Smith. Smith hit an early 3 in this one, has been quiet since. She's trying to get to the rack. Her pass is intercepted the other way from Barnes, running one-on-one with Morrison. She'll draw the contact and finishes strong at the rim with the and one.
This says a lot that you need to know about Bradley in a situation like this. I mean, just trying to finish, and I think there was some confusion about where this foul was going.
A little bit of discussion there between the refs. They were wondering if it was a charge or a block.
Yeah, didn't mean to leave anybody hanging right there. I was trying to watch the replay, but then I was also trying to watch the refs and their conversation, what was going on, because they have talked to both coaches now, and Barnes going to stay at the free throw line.
Yeah, you and me both. For a second, you know, there was calls. Was it a charge? Did we get the block? They ruled a block. Barnes gets a chance for an and one. And now it's a 14-point deficit for CMU. And Bradley now going to make a little bit of a trickier decision for the Chippewas, and they're going to put on a press. Tassone dribbles to her left, dishes to Smith in the corner. Smith, half-court heave. Morrison for 3, nylon. 11-point lead now for the Braves. Chippewas not going away, though. Just under 4 to play here in the 4th. Abu Heshesh works through the pressure. Gets it to O'Hara. Barnes on Smith. McDougal from range. No good. Amaya Smith now. Trying to bring it over the court. Gets it to Tassone. Kristen Haney calling out the plays right now. Trying to get her team in position. They were looking inside for Johnson. Now they swing it back around. Smith kicks it to Smith. Amaya Smith back to Lisa Tassone. Gets the screen left side from Johnson. She'll drive. Bounces it off her foot. It skips around and is picked up by O'Hara. The other way for Bradley.
Now you assume that Bradley's just going to slow this down a little bit. 3 minutes left. You've got a good lead. Might as well drain some shot clock before you go up.
Barnes inside to O'Hara. They're going to try to work through the paint here. She'll spin to her left and finish it strong. That's been the move on the left side block for her all day.
Well, lost some momentum kind of in this middle of this second half, but have to appreciate the closeout from Bradley.
Morrison can't hit. Defensive foul, or rather rebounding foul on the Chippewas, trying hard to get that rebound. Johnson got the seal, but then hooked O'Hara there trying to get the rebound.
Yeah, no, you want to get into position. You want to do everything you can to get yourself in a great position to get that rebound, but can't hook the arm, can't try to get yourself into position by pulling someone else out of it.
Yeah, and now the Chippewas in a little bit more of a tricky situation because fouls put the Bradley Braves on the line right now. So O'Hara will go to the line for 2. The first free throw rattles home. 63-49 Braves, 2:45 to go. 3 dribbles. The Australian second free throw, off back iron, hauled in by Jess Lawson. She'll push the pace. Tassone, rim running. Smith, good. 12-point game. Abu Heshesh dribbles it off her foot, but luckily Kaylin Nelson was there to pick up her teammate. Abu Heshesh, crossover into the middle. Finds McDougal, far side corner. She'll find it in. One more pass. Nelson, 3. Rolls out. No good. Chippewas with the rebound. Now 2 minutes to go. Chippewas got to pick up the pace a little bit. Riley Smith gets a look at 3, but O'Hara got a hand on it. Scramble for it on the court. And it's going to be a foul called. Riley Smith going to pick that one up. She was trying to dive for the rebound. Just a hustle foul there.
I mean, great effort. You're just trying to get out there and get as much as you can by, getting a takeaway. But just got wrapped up right there with Nelson right at half court, and that's an easy foul.
And now Nelson, even worse for the Chippewas, gets to go to the line for 2. She's been perfect, 6 for 6 from the charity stripe. Nelson so methodical at the line. Her first free throw, though, can't go. It's a crucial miss there for Bradley. Obviously, don't want to leave that door even open a little for the Chippewas here under 2 minutes. Second free throw, good. Nelson now 15 points, leads everybody in the gym today. Tassone, back out to Smith. Guarded in front by McDermott. We've got a whistle on the court. It's going to be a timeout called by Kristen Haney. She wanted a second to talk it over. Didn't like the way things had set up for the Chippewas. To Bradley right now, they've held off that lead from the first. Well, Chippewas got it within 5, close to the end of the third. And Maddie Morrison's going to pull up for 2, off back iron. She gets her own rebound, though, and now will drive to left side block. Her layup falls. So now an 11-point game. Here comes the pressure from the Chippewas. Tassone. Abu Heshesh skips it ahead to Barnes. Barnes slowing the pace. Jess Lawson trying to be a nuisance. Gets it to O'Hara. Lathrop on her. Screen from O'Hara for Nelson. Back to Barnes. Barnes motioning O'Hara to set up. She sets up. Lathrop on her back. Cross-court pass. Nelson. Nelson into the paint. Sizing up Tassone. Banks it home.
That's good defense by Tassone, but it's an even better shot by Nelson there. Just kind of faded away a little bit, gave herself some room, and that's a good shot.
Tassone, top of the key, trying to look inside to Lathrop. They swing it around to Lawson. Lawson driving, spinning. Morrison now will take her crack into the middle. Tassone, near side corner. Throws up the floater, banks it in. 46 seconds left in the fourth. Chippewas all the way up. Tassone on Abu Heshesh. She'll just dribble her way through the pressure. Jess Lawson tries to pick her up, knocks her around, but tries to get it from out of bounds. They'll rule it. Still Bradley ball. Lawson kind of, from her position here, came cross court, tried to poke it away, but then tried to get it herself out of bounds. And that'll keep it with Bradley. 11-point deficit, 39 seconds to go here in the fourth. Threw it into the game now. Chippewas will go with a little bit smaller of a lineup. They're looking for those turnovers. They need them. Perryman out of the inbound. Smith, wide wingspan, trying to stop her. Abu Heshesh. Barnes trying to get it inside to McDermott. Went too far with it.
And you like the turnovers forced there. That's great defense off the inbound, but it just comes with 34 seconds left. Really giving Central Michigan's offense no options here to score.
Now, Central Michigan's points has been a little spread out. Lawson with 9, Taylor Johnson with 8, Morrison now with 7, Riley Smith with 7. Lawson gets it inside to Morrison. Fakes the handoff. Morrison spins into the lane, tries to finish, but draws the foul. Abu Hashish didn't like that.
Well, the best thing you can do in this scenario is score while the clock is stopped. So big free throws coming up to keep it at 30 seconds left. I know it's still a long shot with the situation you're in, but at least you're scoring some points with that clock not draining.
Morrison on the young season, only 1 for 1 from the line. The Chippewas have struggled. First free throw, though, does fall. It's now a 10-point deficit with 30 seconds to go for the Chippewas. Three dribbles and the spin for Morrison. Second free throw, nothing but nylon. Nice sound for the Chippewas.
Well, you'll be happy with that if you're Kristen Haney in the Central Michigan side, because this is typically not a great free throw shooting team, over 70%. Need to force a turnover, get yourself back quick on the offensive side. And then, you know, if it's a 3, you have it down to 6 points. If it's less, you got a little bit more to accomplish.
Barnes gets it on the inbound. Pressure from Morrison, but once again, that shot clock about 1 second off from the game clock. Barnes finds her way to the rim. Floater. Can't fall. Shot clock's turned off. 17 seconds to go. Jess Lawson speeds ahead. Bounces to Smith. Smith throws up a shot. No good. Hauled in by Bradley. It's McDougal. Or rather, yes, McDougal, who's called timeout on the other end from Bradley. Good job to just help out your player. There's about 4 or 5 Chippewas they're all reaching for.
You know, just a great call for timeout there. It's the biggest thing that's against you. I know it kind of sound like a broken record at this point, but Central Michigan, they're kind of exhausting all options. This hasn't led to a ton here late.
Manned up all the way down the court. It'll be Nelson to inbound. Smith blocking her. Nelson looking. Finds Barnes. Tassone on her. 5 seconds on the clock. They'll play in the backcourt. Nelson spinning around. Double team. Now she picks up her dribble and lets the clock expire. Big win for Bradley on the road. They take down the Chippewas 66-57.
Yeah, impressive showing. Defense, offense, and they were just really able to get themselves